fixing yet again the PVA machine, so I'm gonna go back to them for about the 10th time and tell them to fix. There's definitely something wrong with it.
See if they want to buy it back.
I'm at that point. They can either send someone to like stay here for like a few weeks, or they can just send us a new one, or just refund us the whole thing.
That's crazy.
I mean, it's a $100,000 machine,
Yeah.
and it's sitting there like crashing when it
It's great when it works.
was working Friday. You come back Monday, and then it starts crashing. So that's yeah. Hopefully we get that this morning. But you know, in manufacturing, we have this funny saying: the harder it is, the better it is. And we kind of joke about this. We're not really serious the harder it is, but it's almost true that these problems that we're trying to solve, the more difficult it is, those are barriers to other people to doing the same thing that we're doing, right? They're barriers to entry. So we feel like if we can do something that's really difficult, that gives us kind of an edge, right? It gives us something that other people aren't willing to do. And if you're sitting there beating your head against the wall trying to solve a problem, not many other people are willing to beat their heads against the wall for that long. And so we like to do difficult things here. We kind of joke and we laugh that everything we're doing is always difficult, and we've taken on all these challenges, right? We like to do challenging things. And the reality is building electronics is something very challenging. And we're here in our headquarters in Kansas City, and every day we are doing fun, interesting things to assemble these high quality products. Tweaking the coating that goes on this 8-pin connector. It's our aux port. Trying to make sure the coating goes all the way up to the edge. We have a machine, really what we call, it's an RTV type of material, so it's a thick, I think it's a silicone-based material, but they call it an RTV. And it basically dams up along the side of components. Some people would call it staking. Some people might call it potting. I think the technical word is probably staking, but it's basically creating this layer of seal up alongside of components. So on the FireBoard 2, we have an 8-pin connector. We have a power barrel type of connector. And those connectors, there's holes that come in. And what we don't want is we don't want for a rainstorm or for water to be able to come through and basically create a lot of moisture internally inside of the FireBoard. So we've tried to seal off these connectors. Long story short, we've been playing with this machine, trying to get the application tip so that it doesn't hit these connectors. And I think we finally found yesterday, I think we've been working through this yesterday and today, even the last few months, we've been trying to really figure out why is this tip, it's either hitting the components and then breaking the tip, or it's maybe not quite getting close enough. And we finally figured out there's this calibration issue with this machine, and they're working on it. We haven't quite been able to figure it out yet, but it seems like the calibration routine isn't quite working. So we'll calibrate the needle, which should get you exactly a very precise location right on the back side of these connectors. If for some reason the calibration has some error. So ironically, running a calibration routine that actually should give you a very precise setting is actually introducing error instead. So I think our solution is actually stop calibrating, and there's a little bit of a manual calibration we can do on the machine. But you know, this has been something we've been beating our heads against the wall for several months. And I'm not sure that we have it totally figured out, but I think we made a breakthrough, and it seems like it's been running very consistently now. Which is really fun. I mean, like the whole point of buying this expensive machine is so we don't have to have somebody sitting there by hand. It's very tedious. You know, thousands of boards sitting there having to coat and apply all these things by hand. And the machine is very efficient. We're trying to get the whole assembly line with the machine so that the conveyors will take the board right into the machine. The machine puts on those layers, puts on the RTV, and then it goes into the other conveyor, and you're basically done with that whole operation. So something that used to take, 1 of our employees, 5-10 minutes,
they can run through maybe 2 or 3 boards. Now we can run 5, 10 boards. I mean, we can run those through almost 3 or 4 times as fast. So super, super efficient, consistent with the way it applies. But again, kind of one of those fun, a little bit frustrating things to solve, but I think we finally have it dialed in. So it's fun at the end of the day to be able to go home and say, you know what, I actually literally saw something that was broken and I fixed it. And now we're able to actually fix something on our manufacturing line. So fun times with manufacturing. It's always keeps us entertained, and always good to share those stories with you. Maybe it helps someone down the road. Thanks very much.